Hello and welcome to the Academy of Modern Martial Arts instructional video series. We wanted to start our series today with a video that can help people of any age and any fitness level maximize their body's ability to both function and stay healthy. Our lungs are responsible for taking oxygen into the body, while our circulatory system is responsible for moving blood throughout the body. This flow of oxygen and blood is absolutely critical to optimal health. Yet, many times we allow stress, and we allow bad posture, and we allow shallow breathing, and we allow a lack of mobility to inhibit that flow of blood and oxygen throughout the body. We're going to address all of those things in today's video. Let's start with taking a look at our posture. To begin with, most people will often shift their weight off to one side. Let's face it, our legs get a little bit tired, so we end up shifting our weight to one side, and in doing so, in order to relieve the pressure on the leg, we'll also end up locking out that leg. So our weight is shifting over, our leg is locked out, and then in addition to that, we'll tend to round our shoulders forward. And in that case, we're actually taking the rib cage and we're impinging upon our lungs' ability to function. So you take this, we add shallow breathing, and then we add a lack of movement throughout the body. And it's no wonder why some of us have areas of our body that don't see adequate circulation. So what we're going to look at first is fixing that posture and unkinking the hose, as it were. Every time we lock out a joint, we're essentially restricting blood flow throughout the body. Every time we allow our shoulders to round forward, we're restricting the ability of our lungs to take in air. So let's address those postural cues. First and foremost, we want to step and we want to have our feet about shoulder width or even a touch wider, depending upon what's comfortable for you. We want to rock back and forth in our feet to locate our weight just behind the ball of the foot. If our weight's too far forward, you'll find your toes gripping the floor. And if your weight's too far back, you'll find your weight is in your heels. We'd really like to find our weight somewhere right in the middle of your feet. See if you can find that with me now. From our balance being in the middle of our feet, we want to go from the feet up to our knees. Those knees, as we discussed, we want to keep some bend in our knees. We want every joint in the body to be soft, or essentially not locked out. So with our knees bent just a little bit forward, we also want our knees to open wide. So again, rather than being knock-kneed and bringing the knees to the middle, the knees are both bent and moved outward, so they're a little bit more over the feet. Coming up from our knees, we want to look at that pelvis. But for a moment, we want to treat our pelvis as if it were a bowl. We don't want that bowl spilling forward. We want to activate our low abdomen and just pull up the front of that pelvis. From lifting up in the pelvis and activating the low abdomen, we want to do the same thing with our sternum. We'd like to lift up out of our sternum to counteract that caving in of the chest. Lift up. By lifting up out of the sternum, we end up setting our shoulder blades back down our back. And lastly, what we'd like to do is we'd like to both lift or extend our head and also simultaneously move our chin back. With all the time we spend on devices and praying forward over a computer today, we really have to take some conscious time to address that and stand in a better position that opens everything up. From there, we're going to relax into that position. We're going to set the shoulders down the back. And a good rule of thumb or a way of testing this particular posture is noticing whether or not your arms can move just as freely backward as they do forward. If I turn sideways for you now, and we're here, and I've rolled my shoulders forward, we'll find that our arms can move forward easily, but backward ends up being uphill, and we don't really want to move backward. Of course, I'm exaggerating, hopefully for most of us. And so if I address that by lifting up on the whole front of the body and setting down on the back of the body, we'll find that our arms they are able to move as freely backward as they do forward. Great. So one more time, with posture, we want to look at those feet, shoulder width or a touch wider. Knees are both soft forward and moved outward. Front of that pelvis is picked up. Front of the sternum is picked up. Shoulders are set back. Crown of the head is raised, while we're also moving the head back just a little bit from the body. Again, done properly, our arms swing freely and tend to hang a little bit further away from the body. That's our first look at posture. Next, we're going to move on to breathing. When it comes to breathing, often we'll tend to have these shallow breaths that occur in the upper register of the lungs. Yet the way that the lungs work is there's more alveolar sacs at the lower portion of the lungs. And it's those alveolar sacs that are responsible for the gas exchange that allows us to get oxygen out of the air that we're breathing. So what we want to do is we want to make certain we're drawing air into the lower portion of the lungs, and we also want to maximize the amount of time the lungs are full so that they can do their job. So in order to do that, let's talk about our breathing. We would like to inhale nice and slow in through the nose. We would like to hold our breath for a heartbeat or two while the lungs are full, and then we would like to easily and gently exhale through the mouth. One more time. One of the things to look at is watch your own shoulders in the mirror. Get in front of the mirror if you can, and if you notice your shoulders coming up when you breathe, if these shoulders are moving, we're probably not inspiring and filling the lower lungs. So take a good look at yourself in that mirror, set the shoulders down, activate that abdomen, and let's take a nice deep breath that we feel move the ribs outward laterally. Nice and slow in through the nose. Hold gently, see if you can feel your heartbeat for a beat or two, and then gently exhale through the mouth. Now this posture throughout our torso and this breathing is something that we'd like to continue through the remainder of the video as we go through our mobility exercises that are going to encourage our circulation to get to every part of our body. So one more time, here we go from the beginning. Feet are shoulder width, knees are soft, bent both forward and outward. Front of the pelvis is picked up, front of the sternum is picked up, shoulders are set back, the crown of the head is raised while the chin is moved backward, our arms move freely forward and backward, and we take nice, long, slow, gentle breaths. In through the nose, hold gently while the lungs are full, see if you can feel that heartbeat, and then exhale gently through the mouth. And from this posture, with this breathing, we would like to encourage circulation throughout the body by going through a joint warm-up, also known as taking an inventory